Let's see what Bill Maher has to say about Canada.
Obama.
I can't believe HBO still has this fucking turtle on broadcast. Bill Maher made a video comparing America and Canada and how much better America is than Canada.
And finally, new rule: if we want to save our country, we should follow the advice good liberals have given for decades and learn from other countries. Especially those beacons of progressivism like Canada, England, and Scandinavia. And
he throws in Scandinavia, but he's not talking about it at all. He's only talking about fucking Canada and the UK, which are not beacons of progressivism and are borderline. I mean, they're neoliberal fascist. It's like, yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Scandinavia is not a country. You fucking idiot.
especially those beacons of progressivism like Canada, England, and Scandinavia. And I agree we should, as long as
Scandinavia could be like any of 7 countries, right? Like England has a king. True. I mean, a king, like royalty in that sense, in the UK's circumstance, is more of an economic problem than like a hierarchical power problem in the way that monarchies are, right?
we're honest about the lessons we're learning, and as long as we're up to date on the current data, such as the unemployment rate in the US is 3.8%, and in Canada it's 6.1%.
As of when, first of all, because AI is replacing jobs at like a super alarming rate, like a extremely alarming rate. We're borderlining on a recession already. Acting like the American economy is good right now is crazy. It's crazy. It's so lopsided, and it just shows what side you're on, what you're thinking.
And of the 15 North American cities with the worst air pollution, 14 are in Canada.
That is also such a really weird. Conservatives really like talking about air pollution when it's like, sure, America has clean air because like 70% of America is just completely unoccupied. It's just grass. And like, think about the water. What about the water, Bill? Hey, Bill, what about the water? What about American water quality? What about American healthcare? And also, yeah, LA has fucking terrible air pollution. I have no idea what this data is. One city, just Chicago, worse than all of Canadian cities in fucking the middle of Canada. I don't fucking know about that. Maybe if there's fucking industry there. They're burning wood there. Unemployment rate is also, yeah, does not equal better living standard at all. What's minimum wage in each place, Bill? What's average fucking poverty level?
I'm not citing these stats because I have it out for Canada. I love Canada and its people, and always have. But I hate zombie lies. Zombie lies.
Woo! This is a great example of a comedian that is not a comedian, but rather a guy that gets on a stage and makes people go, yep. They're not laughing. They're nodding their heads, Bill. Shut the fuck up. Agree with me. Isn't Canada so progressive, and America's rugged and individualist, and we like it that way? When was the last time you crossed a fucking crosswalk in a city, Bill? Like, you fucking work a fake job. You fucking, like, he's literally the epitome of privilege. And then it gets worse because he starts just acting like the American economy is in a great place, and it's just not.
That's when things change, but what people say about them for decades. Places like Vancouver and Amsterdam and Stockholm seemed idyllic because everything was free and all the energy we needed was produced by riding a bike to your job at the windmill.
It's just not saying anything. Like, are you making a point, or are you trying to be like, haha, isn't it funny that they don't have fucking decimated concrete sidewalks that are disgusting and broken up?
Canada was where all the treasured goals of liberalism worked perfectly. It was like NPR come to life.
So you notice how he said nothing about Scandinavia or the cities that he already mentioned in Nordic countries that have like way more social democratic policies than fucking Canada, and also don't have gigantic fucking militaries like the United States and Canada do. Canada, for its size, has a disproportionate military too. It's still nowhere near as big as America's, don't get me wrong, but the UK as well. They just overinflated military budgets for the sake of oppressing the global south.
But with Putin.
But yeah, so he was talking about Scandinavia or whatever, and now he's talking about Canada again, because this isn't about Scandinavia. This isn't about social democracy. This is about Canada, neoliberalism.
Canada was the Statue of Liberty with a low-maintenance haircut and cross-country skis, a giant idealized blue state with single-payer health care, gun control, and abortion on polite demand.
Who from the fucking Greg Gutfeld writer's room is now writing for Bill Maher? This straight up sounds like a Greg Gutfeld monologue.
Is this what independents listen to?
Yeah, I guess it is. I guess this is the new centrism, is being like, Canada's too liberal.
Canada was where every woke white college kid wearing pajama pants outdoors who'd had it up to here with America's racist patriarchy dreamt of living someday.
Yeah, Canada, famously not a racist country. Like, are you serious? How out of touch do you have to be? This guy doesn't know anything that's going on that doesn't directly immediately affect him or his interests. So there's no way he would know about indigenous genocide in Canada or like historic racism in Canada. It's just ignorance. And then the whites laugh.
I mean, besides Gaza.
Wait, what was that?
Canada was where every woke white college kid wearing pajama pants outdoors who'd had it up to here with America's racist patriarchy dreamt of living someday. I mean,
literally Gutfeld. Literally Gutfeld, and Gutfeld is a fraud. Gutfeld's a fucking magazine writer. Bill, like, this is insane. He's been bad for a while, but this is like one of the worst I've heard.
Besides Gaza.
Yeah, guess what? You're in college? Well, you wouldn't like living in Gaza, which is being genocided. It's like, yeah. No shit, Bill. You wouldn't like being there either, getting bombed by fucking Israelis, but you deserve it. Bill Maher deserves it. Bill Maher is the man who deserves to be under fucking Israeli hellfire, missiles, drone strikes that come out of fucking nowhere. Maybe then he would understand where people are coming from when they have fucking compassion. It's insane. It's insane. The Israeli government destroyed the fucking socialist coalition in Gaza and replaced them with Hamas. They did that, Bill. He just doesn't know anything about anything. He doesn't care, because as a white centrist, you have the leisure, the privilege, especially as fucking rich as Bill Maher is. As a white centrist, you have the privilege of not giving a shit, because he's away from it all. And so people who care, and people who want justice in the world, well, they seem like they're dramatic, because there's plenty of justice for Bill Maher. If Bill Maher had anything done wrong to him, he would see that it was done right. Justice was seen. My dad watches you, but he's super anti-woke. Wait, he likes my content, but he's anti-woke? That's funny. I think there's a couple of people like that. My advice is to just ask your dad to define woke. Like, what does woke even mean? And then when he comes up with like some weird nothing explanation, just be like, no, woke is actually what Ethan says. He identifies as woke. Like, if he already likes my content, then don't matter. My gender is woke. My bank account is woke. My car is woke. My dog is woke. Joe Biden.
There's only one problem with thinking everything's better in Canada. It's not. Not anymore, anyway. Last year, Canada added 1.3 million people, which is a lot in 1 year, the equivalent of the U.S. adding 11 million migrants in 1 year. And now,
imagine if it was more people. Bill Maher be like, 1.3 million people, which is almost like 11 million people. Do you know how big Canada is, bro? Come on now. Ridiculous.
Canada added 1.3 million people, which is a lot in 1 year, the equivalent of the U.S. adding 11 million migrants in 1 year. And now they're experiencing a housing crisis even worse than ours.
The housing crisis is not the result of immigrants. It's not even the result of a housing shortage. It's a result of affordable housing shortage. There are units sitting and rotting empty because it's cheaper to leave them empty than it is to actually have tenants in them. And landlords are doing that on purpose. Landlords are purposefully leaving rent-controlled apartments empty because it raises the price of the entire area when they usually have other fucking properties. Not even close to immigrants. The immigrants are the ones looking for fucking housing and can't afford it in a lot of circumstances. And then Americans can't afford it either. It's like 70% of some people's fucking salary in major cities. San Francisco, are you kidding me? Bill probably owns property. Doesn't
We're
matter.
sleeping in tents.
Wait, sorry, he said it.
The media, they're experiencing a housing crisis even worse than ours. And we're sleeping in tents.
Yeah, we are. I hope Bill Maher has to sleep on a tent in the LA road. He'll never have to, but I seriously hope for the good of the world, even for the good of Bill Maher's humanity, that he, yeah, it's funny that people are sleeping in tents in downtowns and cities because they are literally too expensive to exist in, and there's nothing else you can do in America. and they face constant violence from being on the street, from the police, from regular ass people, from other homeless people. It's so fucked up, man.
The median price of a home here is $346 grand. In Canada, converted to US dollars, it's $487. If Barbie moved to Winnipeg, she wouldn't be able to afford her dream house, and Ken would be working at Tim Hortons.
It's just not funny. Like, these are all things that Bill Maher does not have to experience. He literally needs like an Ebenezer Scrooge moment.
And because of mortgage debt, Canada has the highest debt to GDP ratio of any G7 nation.
Oh man, they have so much debt. Oh, who's coming to collect, Bill? Who? Do you know who prints money? The government, the country. So I think we're covered, actually.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
That is the synopsis of this entire bit. He's just reading out stuff about immigration in Canada in general and just being like, I don't know what any of this means, but it sounds bad.
Liberal, happy
Anyway.
So does their vaunted healthcare system, which ranks dead last among high-income countries in access to primary healthcare and ability to see a doctor in a day or two. And
yeah,
it's not for lack.
Fucking come on, dude. You literally cannot shit on Canadian healthcare as an American. You can't. I mean, you can when you're deluded to the point of, I mean, Bill Maher could literally pay for whatever he wanted done ever. But it's like, imagine being uninsured, Bill. Just for a second, just imagine. Just think about what it would be like if you didn't have insurance and you couldn't pay for something that you needed. Would that not be unfair and unjust and hard? Or do you think it's just fine?
The 30 countries with universal coverage, Canada spends over 13% of its economy on it, which is a lot of money for free health care. Look, I'm not...
A lot of money. How much does the healthcare industry make, Bill? And that money's going into CEO pockets. At least that's fucking taxpayer money going to help people. And you know, if you don't want the medical industry to be making taxpayer dollars, how about you nationalize the fucking hospitals? Like, what is your solution, Bill? For real. He's such a piece of shit. Ungodly. It is so insane. He had some girl on his fucking podcast. I didn't know who she was, but she was smoking weed with him. And she was like, man, anyone should be themselves. And I love genderqueer people. And he was like, yeah, isn't that cool? It tries to make some fucking like creepy old man jokes at her. It's like so pathetic because he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about anything. I mean, he's a bully inherently. He's constantly trying to make the best dunk in the moment, regardless of what the truth is, regardless of even how he actually feels. I'm sure if you asked Bill Maher in a different context, his opinion would be completely different because he's stupid. I think Bill Maher is he's like Jordan Peterson. When you're like this old and this unable to like rationalize your bigotry, it's Jover. When you've been doing it as long as Bill has, you gotta gotten better at it, or you're dumb. Sorry. That's why Jordan Peterson's so dumb.
Saying Canada still isn't a great country, it is, but those aren't paradise numbers. If Canada was an apartment, the lead feature might be America adjacent. And if America was a rental car,
joking.
Canada would be America or similar. And again, honestly, Canada, I'm not saying any of this because I enjoy it. I don't, because I've always enjoyed you. But I need to cite you as a cautionary tale to help my country.
Yeah, Canada's gone too far left. The loony left have taken over Canada, and they're having less bad of a housing crisis than we are already right now. So we can't do it like them.
And the moral of that tale is, yes, you can move too far left. And when you do,
Unbelievable.
you wind up pushing the people in the middle to the right.
No, you don't. You only do that to idiots. There's literally unbelievable. Like, old, out-of-touch men cannot be old and out of touch anymore. It's the left's fault for going crazy. It's not, I don't understand the new generation. It's not old man shaking his fist at the hippies, calling them commies. No, it's everyone else's fault. Oh, but poor me. I used to believe in Medicare for all, and now, you know what? Canada has immigrants in it, so I think it's bad now. I wonder what happened. What's the difference, Bill? Is it because you assumed Canada was completely white? And you're like, wow, their medical system's great. And now it's like, oh, you know, brown people are getting it. It's woke. They're pushing me to the right.
It's what American voters
I hear Canada's the best about taking in refugees. It's probably a desirable place to be for refugees because of the healthcare.
think happens when there's no one putting a check
Which is also the case in America, not in terms of affordability, but in terms of quality for what you can pay for.
on extreme wokeness, like the saga of Canadian shop teacher Kayla Lemieux.
Oh my
whose pronouns
God,
are-
Bill, what the fuck? What? How could you ever do this? I can't believe you've done this.
Call me asparagus.
This is not okay. I don't know if I get banned for that. Shit. This was a completely fake story anyway. This was a completely fucking nonsense. It was some transphobe pretending to be trans in his fucking shop class. Anyway, Bill Maher doesn't fucking know anything, and he's so beyond out of touch. Like, the only job a comedian has, the only job is to be in touch with culture. And now Bill Maher is shaking his fist at the commies in Canada. Anyway, goodbye, everyone.